I was just going to give you some of the demographics on the podcast for fun. Spotify has been coming out with a lot of cool features. So they gave me a bunch of stuff here. So, okay. Biggest group is United States, then Canada, then United Kingdom, then Australia, then India, then South Africa, then Germany, then France. And then it goes just kind of 1% down from there. After France, it's Sweden, Philippines, Denmark, Israel, Singapore. 64 total countries, which is really cool. Oldest listeners are in the U.S. Youngest listeners are in South Africa. And South Africa is the second biggest market for Spotify listeners, which is interesting. 27.5% listened on Spotify, 17% on Apple, 8% on a web browser, and then other is 54 or 45%, which I don't know. Actually, there's a better breakdown somewhere else. I think it's like 25% iPhone, 20% Android, 20% web browser, and then some other stuff. Oh, Pod, what's it called? Gpodder or some like aggregator where you can download everything, Pod or something, which is, I just downloaded that myself thanks to looking at this. But it's 88% men, and then women for the rest. It is non-gender specified, a couple percent. It is age groups. Let me see here. Here we go. Okay, the biggest age group is 35 to 44, which is right where I land at the tail end of that now. 45 to 59 is second. And then after that, it's 23 to 27 and 28 to 34 are tied. And then just a few people over 60 and pretty much nobody under 23. Interestingly enough, I don't have anybody under 23. That's actually the last 30 days. Okay, never mind. Let me see the whole thing. Let me redo it. 35 to 44 is the biggest still. And then the second biggest group is 28 to 34. And then 45 to 59. And then 23 to 27. And then 18 to 22. And then over 60. And then there's a real small bit beyond, like maybe it must be 70 or 80 or something, which for some reason is more than over 60. I don't get that. But and then 0 to 17.3%. So most of you are between 28 and 59. Makes sense. Super cool, though, to see that the youngest group is South Africa. I thought that was fun, kind of a cool little fact. But the reason for the podcast is just to share that for just entertainment. But also, they have a lot of new features, so I would love it would be super grateful if anyone had a thoughtful comment or comment on any episode. You can comment in here, or then we can go back and forth a little bit, or you can leave a review, which is even better, which I really would appreciate, not out of guilt or obligation, but just because you want to. If you're feeling inspired to do it, great. If not, doesn't matter. They offer video. I could put my mug on here for you for video. I don't know if anyone wants that. If that's going to be more compelling for any reason, I doubt it, but that's a different form of consumption I can do on here. There's more AI stuff. I can map out the episodes better and all that stuff. But part of it for me is just coming on here to talk and clean out my own head and be accountable a little bit. And then to interact with people because I enjoy giving, just sharing my experience because this is a field that people don't really survive in that long. So being able to talk about it for a few decades now is pretty awesome. And I've met some really good friends on here and made some connections through email and a lot of them in person just through being able to do this. So I'm really grateful for everyone who finds some sort of a connection to something on here and for all the platforms and the modern technology to make that possible. So besides the video, besides doing videos on here, the other thing I can do, and I do a YouTube, I did a few videos for practice on YouTube. And this thing also does go to YouTube, so you can just listen to it on YouTube if you want. Some of you do. And that's actually where I get the most comments is YouTube. Nobody comments on Spotify. It's just not really probably for that, but you can do it on YouTube. Also, do you want me to bring in more people? I could bring in guests to talk once in a while. Just banter back and forth about topics with me. I know I've had Brent on a couple times, and he coaches traders. I talk to him almost every day. He's been trading for 25 years, lots of futures experience, so that's fun. I could have some others on over time occasionally. Might be kind of cool. Excuse me, just to have that back and forth. So that's one thing that I could do. I could talk more about topics that people are struggling with or are interested in. You could always message me about that. When I talk about the group I want to create, it's going to be more like the first quarter probably than January, but I need to get some technology stuff straightened out. That's probably going to be more of a intimate me giving a lot of time and energy, sharing open booking on pretty much my whole situation in terms of what trades I'm doing, why I'm doing them, if they didn't work, when I'm struggling, when I'm drawing down, when I've done well, case studies, how can I sell better, what am I missing, learning from others who are doing well, learning from each other when we're struggling, talking about people's individual situations and things. Sometimes what you need is someone with experience to help you be more of yourself. I think that's what this is all about, is being more of yourself, because you can't copy someone else. You can learn from them. Trading can be taught. Trading can't be taught, but it can be learned, I think is the line. And I mean, it's like the story when I sit next to the rock star trader and my parents are like, well, just copy what he does all day. And then, he's long, full size at the top of the day and he flips to go short. And you're not inside of his head and you don't understand what he's doing, and it doesn't really work well. So that's something that just kind of sums it up for you. And everyone knows this who does it. But so investing in yourself, investing in your learning and in a community that you can do that. It's not easy to find. It's tough to do. I don't know if I can be successful in creating that, but I do know some things that don't work well. I know that if you have a ton of followers, a lot more than me, you could get a massive membership for a very low cost and have that echo chamber in there. And I don't really want to do that. It's not my thing. I don't want to blast myself all over social media, and I just don't want to manage all that. I'm interested in it's less of a, hey, how do you do this and that? More of like the whole shebang of how do I think? How do I get through my drawdowns? What do I do when my trade doesn't work? How do I sometimes trade futures, but oftentimes like the game it's a bull market and we're trading stocks. How do we find the right stocks to trade? How do you look at them? How are you using GPT to program stuff to make it easier? How are you tracking sentiment? Are there things we can do to build tools to get better at that? What tools are you building? Can you share the tools with me? Hey, I'm going through this right now. Can we talk about it a little bit? I can't figure out why I'm not trading well. People around me are trading well. I have FOMO a lot. All that stuff it can be ironed out. And I had a lot of people help me when I was younger, iron some of that stuff out. And a paid group with me would be providing a lot of that. I thought it would be cool to have people who are more experienced. That just might not be the case though. Maybe a lot of those people are very set in their ways and they love to listen, but they don't want to hear someone else because it messes them up and they have their own thing. Totally get that. I kind of have a different disposition where I try a lot of things and sometimes I don't even agree or really like the stuff that other people are doing, but it teaches me more about myself, about it helps pull me back to what I'm actually really good at. And sometimes I go too far out and it costs me. And sometimes, it really helps me. I think ultimately going out a lot and looking around and feeling a lot of different things has provided tremendous benefit in every way of my life. But not everyone is that way. So some people might because my style from listening is I'm trading futures all the time back in the past. And now I'm not doing as much, more futures options, but it's still a big part of my money making because those things can be very explosive during the day. So you might be looking at 8 to 20 days a year where that's important. Otherwise, it's stay out of the way and don't get hurt. And I'm doing a lot more swing trading and position trading stocks now and building some tools with AI stuff to identify those better and then try to use my same thinking process about where there's a lot of neglect or where the sentiment is really extreme, and then thinking about all the things I'm subscribing to and trying to pull it together with a tool to help me learn when the price action is good and doing those trades, and then analyzing how can I sell them better, how do I size them better. So there's that, and then there's there's another. I'm working on building a sentiment tool right now too, where I can track a lot of different things that help me figure out where the lean is on sentiment, and that's kind of tough because there's so much stuff. There's like Seeking Alpha message boards, and there's Reddit, and there's Yahoo message boards, upvotes, downvotes. So it's tough. There's positive and negative slants to media articles. So I'm thinking through that right now. And something that's paid would always be sharing what I'm doing with that. That's part of it. So that's probably on a WhatsApp or Telegram type thing, near daily posting. Don't know the target audience for that. Is it someone new who wants to pay for it but doesn't have a lot of knowledge and wants to learn and grow and add things to their style? Is it someone who's been successful, who's struggling and wants to learn new things? Is it someone who's just curious like I can be and see what you can pick up? And yeah, so that's kind of that's the fun and the mystery of it. So that'll be coming at some point. I'm going to do an episode too with my wife where she talks about what it's like to, I don't know, the observations that she has living with a trader. How about that? Something that's interesting to the audience, not just maybe her thoughts are interesting, because she picks up a lot of stuff that I might not think about by hearing what I say. So I think that could be cool as well. And so if back to the beginning, videos, comments on the articles, reviews, and anything in there about things that you want to hear more from me. Maybe you just like it how it is, maybe you don't, but I'm open to it. Anyways, that's that. Have a good day.